guys, welcome back, and we're going to continue the story again. Let's hope this is the last episode because I checked back and it's nearly done, and we're going to continue reading the story. Fantastic, Mr. Fox.
Hello, welcome back, fantastic, lovely viewers.
Chapter 15, Bean Secret Cider Cellar. Wow. Bean Secret Cider Cellar. Can you say that?
Bean Secret Cider Cellar.
Wow.
Bean Secret Cider Cellar.
Okay. Mr. Fox examined the wall carefully.
Carefully.
He saw that the cement between the bricks was old and crumbly. So he loosened a brick without much trouble and pulled it away. Suddenly, out from the hole where the brick had been, there popped a small, sharp face with whiskers.
Go away!
It snapped.
You can't come in here! It's private!
Good Lord!
Said Badger.
It's Rat!
You saucy beast! Like chili sauce! Said Mr. Fox. I should have guessed we'd find you down here somewhere.
Go away!
Shrieked Rat.
Go on, beer! This is my private beer!
Be quiet!
Budgies, be quiet.
Yeah, be quiet, said Mr. Fox.
I will not be quiet!
Shrieked Rat.
This is my place! I can't do this!
Take two.
Go on, beer! This is my private pitch!
Oh, we started early, okay. Be quiet, said Mr. Fox.
I will not be quiet!
Who says that?
Shrieked Rat.
This is my place! I'll get here fast!
Mr. Fox gave a brilliant smile, flashing his white teeth.
Again.
I think he used a Colgate for real. My dear rat, said softly, I am a hungry
Fox.
rat.
This is the picture. This is the shrieking rat. Look at him. He's like, oh my gosh, can you tone it down a bit? Then look at his face.
I am a hungry fellow, and if you don't hop it quickly, I shall eat you in one gulp. Here's the picture.
No, don't look at the picture yet.
Oh my gosh, then why did they put it in that page?
Right.
That did it. Rat popped back fast out of sight. Mr. Fox laughed and began pulling more bricks out of the wall. When he had made a biggish hole, he crept through it. Badger and the smallest fox followed him in. They found themselves in a vast, damp, gloomy cellar. This is it! Cried Mr. Fox.
This is what?
Said Badger.
This place is empty.
Where are the turkeys? Said the smallest fox, staring into the gloom. I thought Bean was a turkey man. He is a turkey man. But we're not after turkeys now. We've got plenty of food. Then what do we need, Dad? Take a good look around, said Mr. Fox. Don't you see anything that interests you? Badger and the smallest fox peered into the half darkness. As their eyes began accustomed to the gloom, they began to see what looked like a whole lot of big glass jars standing upon shelves around the walls. They went closer. They were jars. There were hundreds of them. And upon each one was written the word
Cider!
The smallest fox leaped high in the air. Oh, Dad! He cried out. Look what we found! It's cider! Fat.
This is what they found.
So here's the picture. Yeah, there is a lot of cider. But
Cider.
he got smaller, thinner. Badger. And here's the other picture of the littlest last fox. Exactly, said Mr. Fox.
Tremendous!
Shouted Badger. Bean secret cider cellar, said Mr. Fox. But go carefully, my dears. Don't make a noise.
Budgies, yeah, that was for you. Don't make a noise.
The cellar is right underneath the farmhouse itself,
Cider
said Badger.
is especially good for badgers. We take it as medicine. One large glass 3 times a day with meals and another at bedtime.
It will make the feast into a banquet, said Mr. Fox. While they were talking, the smallest fox had sneaked a jar off the shelf and had taken a gulp. Wow! He gasped. Wow! Yee! You must understand this was not the ordinary weak fizzy cider one buys in the store. It was the real stuff, a home-brewed fiery liquor that burned in your throat and boiled in your stomach. I
think it's red.
Oh, not
No, like this. Yes, that's perfect.
Gasped the smallest fox. This is some cider. I remember this at the front page, but I don't really want to show you because the handwriting there is bad.
This is not me.
This is me.
Really?
I think. See, same picture.
That's quite enough for that.
That's quite enough for that, said Mr. Fox, grabbing the jar and putting it into his own lips. He took a tremendous gulp. It's miraculous!
Miraculous.
It's miraculous. It's miraculous, he whispered, fighting for breath. It's fabulous. It's beautiful,
It's my turn.
said Badger, taking the jar and tilting his head well back. The cider gurgled and bubbled down his throat.
It's like melted gold.
He gasped.
Oh, Foxy, it's like drinking sunbeams and rainbows.
They're bouncing!
Shrieked Rat.
Put that down at once! They're bringing
Rat was perched upon the highest shelf in the cellar, peering out from behind a huge jar. There was a small rubber tube inserted in the neck of the jar, and Rat was using this tube to suck out the cider. You're drunk? You're drunk, said Mr. Fox.
Mind your own business!
Shrieked Rat.
Commercial break.
I'll never wait, clumsy brutes come messing about in here. We'll be caught! Get out and leave me to sip my cider in peace!
I wish I could make that voice.
I don't know how I do it either.
You sound so different from me.
Yes!
Yet. Okay. Okay. At that moment, they heard a woman's voice calling out in the house above them.
Hurry up and get that cider, Mabel!
No.
Hurry up and get that cider, Mabel!
Let me do it. Hurry up and get that cider, Mabel! The voice called.
You know Mr. B doesn't like to be kept waiting. Especially when he's been out all night at a tent.
You're getting so many voices now. The animals froze. They stayed absolutely still. Their ears pricked, their bodies tensed. Then they heard the sound of a door being opened. The door was at the top of a flight of stone steps leading down from the house to the cellar, and someone was starting to come down those steps. Sorry, I was laughing a bit. Why? Silent, please! This guy.
The rat. This is how you
Oh, this is the long.
achieve that he used to drink cider because he's too tiny to drink it.
Okay, next page has a new chapter. No. Chapter 16.
Chapter 16.
The woman. Wow, what a nice picture here.
Quick!
Said Mr. Fox. Hide! He and Badger and the smallest fox jumped onto a shelf and crouched behind a row of big cider jars. Peering around the jars, they saw a huge woman coming down into the cellar. At the foot of the steps, the woman paused, looking to the right and left. Then she turned and headed straight for the place where Mr. Fox and Badger and the smallest fox were hiding.
Right, you're so fast.
She stopped. She
stopped.
She stopped right in front of them. The only thing between her and them was a row of cider jars.
So, are you reading a story or are you rapping?
They barely rhyme. Okay, she was so close. Mr. Fox could hear the sound of her breathing. Peeping through the crack between two bottles, he noticed that she was carrying a big rolling pin in one hand.
That's her breathing. This is how she looks like.
Fat.
Yeah, I don't have the degree of my wedding invitation.
Cut that part out,
Delete
please.
that. Delete that part.
How many will he want this time, Mrs. Bain? The woman shouted, and from the top of the steps, the other voice called back.
Bring up 2 or 3 jars.
He drank 4 yesterday, Mrs. Bain.
Yes, but he won't want that many today because he's not going to be up there for more than a few hours longer. He says the fox is bound to make a run for it this morning. It can't possibly stay down that hole another day without food.
The woman in the cellar reached out and lifted a jar of cider from the shelf. The jar she took was next but one to the jar behind which Mr. Fox was crouching.
I'll be glad when the rotten brute is killed and strung up on the front porch.
She called out.
And by the way, Mrs. Bean.
Wait, what? This is Mrs.
Yeah.
So I continue, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, Mrs. Bean, your husband promised I could have the tail as a souvenir.
The tail has been shot to pieces, said the voice from upstairs. Didn't you know that?
You mean it's ruined?
Of course it's ruined. They shot the tail, but Mr. Fox.
Oh no,
said the big woman.
I did so want that tail.
You can have the head instead, Mabel. You can get it stuffed and hang it on your bedroom wall. Hurry up now with that cider!
Cider.
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 The picture.
See, they're hiding right here.
This is the fat lady. But then was the rat. In peace! So she's reaching out to get a jar of cider.
And they're hiding right here.
Yeah. And this is her rolling pin.
That she's running the carrying.
Yes, ma'am, I'm coming.
Said the big woman. And she took a second jar from the shelf. If she takes one more, she'll see us, thought Mr. Fox. He could feel the smallest fox's body pressed tightly against his own, quivering with excitement.
Will 2 be enough, Mrs. Bean, or shall I take 3?
My goodness, Mabel, I don't care so long as you get a move on.
Then 2 it is,
said the huge woman, speaking to herself now.
He drinks too much anyway.
Carrying a jar in each hand and with the rolling pin tucked under one arm, she walked away across the cellar At the foot of the steps, she paused.
Pause.
Wait, pause. Wait. That's her! Myrtle is her!
Myrtle?
She's like, oh! I think she's shouting out to the other woman. These are some bottles of cider, I think.
Yeah, that he finished.
And here's the
Like they're hiding.
huge one. Yeah.
Imagine if she took this, then they would be found.
Yes.
Then I wonder what would have happened.
I don't know how Badger's hiding. He's so fat. At the foot of the steps, she paused and looked around, sniffing in the air. There's rats down here again, Mrs. Bean. I can smell them.
Wait, this is Myrtle.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, take 2.
I'm sorry.
There's rats down here again, Mrs. Bean. I can smell them.
Then poison them, woman. Poison them. You know where the poison is kept.
Yes, ma'am.
Mabel said. She climbed slowly out of sight
Why
up the
do I
steps.
have to do this?
The door slammed. Boom! Quick, said Mr. Fox. Grab a jar each and run for it. Rat stood on his high shelf and shrieked.
What did I tell you? You nearly got nabbed, didn't you? You nearly gave the game away. You keep out of here from now on. I don't want you around. This is my place.
You, said Mr. Fox, are going to be poisoned,
Don't be silly.
said Rat.
I sit up here and watch her putting the stuff down. She'll never get me. Me.
Mr. Fox and Badger and the smallest fox ran across the cellar, clutching a gallon jar each.
Goodbye, rat!
No. Redo. 3, 2, 1.
Goodbye, rat!
They called out as they disappeared through the hole in the wall.
Thanks for the lovely cider!
Shrieked Rat.
Robbers! Bandits! Burglars!
Redo the burglars, please. Okay, starting from here.
Oh, come on.
Thieves!
Shrieked Rat.
Robbers! Bandits!
Take 2 from the bandit.
Bandages!
Burglars.
Burgers!
Bandages and burgers.
Thieves!
Shrieked
No,
Rat.
it's like this.
Thieves! Thieves!
Shrieked Rat.
Robber! Robbers!
No, rubber. It's rubber.
Burglars! Bandages! Burgers!
No, say it properly, please. Okay.
Thieves! Robbers! Bandits! Burglars!
That's better. This is Rat. He's angry.
Yeah. Is he wearing pants?
No, that's his pure butt.
This is, he's still holding the straw.
This is his butt. Chapter 17.
The Great Feast!
Oh! Back in the tunnel, they paused so that Mr. Fox could brick up the hole in the wall. He was humming to himself as he put the bricks back in place. I can still taste that glorious cider, he said. What an impudent fellow Rat is,
Nobody likes him. He has bad manners.
Badger said.
All rats have bad manners. I've never met a polite rat yet.
And he drinks too much, said Mr. Fox, putting the last brick in place.
More than Bean? Oh!
There we are. Now home to the feast. They grabbed the jars of cider and off they went. Mr. Fox was in front. The smallest fox came next and Badger last. Along the tunnel they flew, past the turning that led to Bunce's mighty storehouse. Yay!
It's the picture.
They're running away with the cider.
They did it!
Yay! Hooray for them! Yay! And Badger's like,
Look at this.
and then
Just something I noticed, but look at him. It looks so easy for him to carry this, while it looks so heavy for this guy and averagely heavy for Mr. Fox.
he's like, yay! And then this guy's, he's walking, he's skipping, and he's sprinting.
I
He's
bet this is
skipping.
the tunnel which led to Bunce's mighty storehouse.
Yeah, and they turn this way.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fox is so happy.
Mm.
Yay! Past Boggis's chicken house number 1, and then up the long home stretch towards the place where they knew Mrs. Fox would be waiting. Keep it up, my darlings! Shouted Mr. Fox. We'll soon be there! Think what's waiting for us at the other end! And just think what we're bringing home with us in these jars. That ought to cheer up the poor Mrs. Fox. Mr. Fox sang a little song as he ran. Back home again, swiftly I glide, back to my beautiful bride. She'll not feel so rotten as soon as she's gotten some cider inside her inside. Then Badger joined in.
Oh, poor Mrs. Badger, he cried. So hungry she very near died. But she'll not feel so hollow if only she'll swallow some cider inside her inside.
Inside their insides. Okay. Oh, I see a huge picture.
Don't look.
They were still singing as they rounded the final corner and burst in upon the most wonderful and amazing sight any of them had ever seen. The feast was just beginning. A large dining room had been hollowed out of the earth, and in the middle of it, seated around a huge table, were no less than 29 animals.
Wow.
They were Mrs. Fox and 3 small foxes, Mrs. Badger and 3 small badgers, Mole and Mrs. Mole and 4 small moles, Rabbit and Mrs. Rabbit and 5 small rabbits,
Weaselbee and Mrs. Weaselbee and 6 small Weaselbees.
The table was covered with chickens and ducks and geese and hams and bacon and carrots. And everyone was tucking into the lovely food.
Ta-da!
So
Wow.
they just arrived.
On this tunnel.
This is Badger.
Badger, yeah.
Okay, so this is a weasel. This is Mrs. Fox.
Wow, it
Foxes.
looks so big. There's
It
already
was-
food. They already started eating. See, you can see bones and everything on the floor. Rabbit, 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 rabbit.
Mo 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 mo.
Weasel, 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 badger, 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 fox, 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 fox. And some extra food, I think.
Yeah.
My darling!
Cried Mrs. Fox, jumping up and hugging Mr. Fox.
We couldn't wait. Please forgive us.
Then she hugged the smallest fox of all, and Mrs. Badger hugged Badger, and everyone hugged everyone else. How do you pronounce this?
Amateur.
Amid shouts of joy, the great jars of cider were placed upon the table, and Mr. Fox and Badger and the smallest fox sat down with the others. You must remember no one had eaten a thing for several days. They were ravenous. So for a while there was no conversation at all. There was only the sound of crunching and chewing as the animals attacked the succulent food. At last, Badger stood up. He raised his glass of cider and called out,
A toast! I want you all to stand and drink a toast to a dear friend who has saved our lives this day. Mr. Foxy!
Wait. I want you all to stand and drink a toast? Toast like bread. Drink
Not that
a
kind of
toast.
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 I don't know how to explain it, but like, it's like a drink. Like when you,
Okay, wait.
I don't know how to explain
3.
it.
What is a toast?
Well, a toast is like, like when everyone is supposed to be drinking together.
Not when someone starts before another person. Everyone starts together, and usually before a toast, they say something.
Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. To
Mr. Fox!
They all shouted, standing up and raising their glasses.
To Mr. Fox! Long may he live!
Oh, this is a good example of a toast.
Yeah, he's raising his hand. Usually when people make
With
toast,
glass in it.
yeah, they raise their hands with what they're going to drink, and then they say something like their speech, and then they all drink together.
Yes. Mrs. Fox. Then Mrs. Fox got shyly to her feet and said,
I don't want to make a speech. I just want to say one thing, and it is this. My husband is a fantastic fox.
Everyone clapped and cheered. Then Mr. Fox himself stood up.
Look at his face.
Looks like he's burping. This delicious meal, he began. Then he stopped. In the silence that followed, he let fly
A big ball.
a
Wow.
tremendous belch. There was laughter and more clapping. This delicious meal, my friends, he went on, is by courtesy of Messrs. Buggis, Bunce and Bean. All cheering and laughter. And I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have. He let fly another colossal belch.
Better out than in.
Thank you, said Mr. Fox, grinning hugely.
Showing more of his white teeth.
But now, my friends, let's be serious. Let's think of tomorrow and the next. Oh, let's think of tomorrow, my birthday, and the next day and the days after that. If we go out, we will be killed, right?
Right!
They shouted.
We'll be shot before we've gone a yard.
Said Badger. Exactly, said Mr. Fox. Who wants to go out anyway?
But who wants to go out anyway?
But who wants to go out anyway? Let me ask you that. We are all diggers. Every one of us. We hate the outside. The outside's full of enemies. We only go out because we have to get food for our families. But now, my friends, we have an entirely new setup. We have a safe tunnel leading to 3 of the finest stores in the world.
We do indeed,
Said Badger.
I've seen 'em.
And you know what this means? Said Mr. Fox. It means that none of us ever need to go out in the open again. There was a buzz of excitement around the table. I therefore invite you all, Mr. Fox went on, to stay here with me forever. Forever! They cried. My goodness, how marvelous! And Rabbit said to Mrs. Rabbit,
Idea, just think. We're never going to be shot at again in our lives.
We will make, said Mr. Fox, a little underground village with streets and houses on each side. Separate houses for badgers and moles and rabbits and weaselbees and foxes. And every day I will go shopping for you all. And every day we will eat like kings. Ooh. The cheering that followed the speech went on for many minutes.
Woo!
Many minutes later.
Chapter 18.
Still waiting.
Outside the fox's hole, Bobbies and Bunts and Beans sat beside their tents with their guns on their lap. It was beginning to rain. Water was trickling down the necks of the 3 men into their shoes. They're still waiting. Oh my
This
god.
is so sad.
Well, I don't pity them one bit. They deserve it.
You won't stay down there much longer now, Bogus said. The brute must be famished, Bunce said. That's right.
That's right.
Bean said.
He'll be making a dash for it at any moment. Keep your guns in handy.
They sat there by the hole, waiting for the fox to come out.
And
And
so,
so
far
far
as
as
we know,
Yeah, they are still waiting. Oh, poor them. They're still waiting for hours, and the animals are having a great party. But they're still waiting.
Let's find out how carefully you were reading. Pop quiz.
Yeah, let's find out how carefully you were reading. Question 1. Oh, and by the way, if you don't get enough time to think, you can maybe pause the video.
Yeah.
Question number 1. What are the 3 farmers called? Bogus, Bean and Buns, Declan, Duncan and Daniel, or John, James and Jax?
We'll give
Jack.
you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Pause the video if you don't have enough time.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the answer is Bogus, Bean and Buns.
Bogus, Bean and Buns. Yeah.
It might be confusing because you usually say Bogus,
Bogus and Buns and Bean.
Okay, question number 2. Where is the hole Mr. Fox lives in? A, under a bush. B, near the train station. C, under a tree. 3 seconds. 1.
Ich, ni, san. Time's up. The answer is C, under a tree.
Okay, 3. When the 3 farmers shoot at him, what does Mr. Fox lose? A, his jacket. B, his tail. C, his eye.
Hannah, says time's up.
The answer is B, his tail.
Yes. And now,
Number 4.
how many jars of cider does Maple take from the cellar? 2, 3, or 5?
3.
Satu! Dua! Tiga! Ding, 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 ding.
The
2.
answer is 2A.
Yes.
Special question because it's counting in our language.
Yay!
Divehi.
For the last question.
5.
Okay. 5. How many children does Mr. Fox have?
Eke. De. Tine.
Wait, I didn't say. De, tine, or hatare? 2, 3, or 4.
Eke.
De,
Tine. Time's up.
The answer is
4.
Here are the answers. That's why we were covering it with the pretty rock.
Bye-bye.
That's the end for this book. But she doesn't mean bye 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 bye.
No, just for
That's
the book.
the end of this book. And she was right. This is a really fantastic
It's
book.
brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Okay, like we said, I nearly forgot. Do you remember the song the children round would say when they saw Bogus and Buns and Bean? Or
No.
Bean, Bogus and Buns?
No? Well,
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Time's up. The answer is Bogus and Buns and Bean.
one fat, one short, one lean.
These horrible crooks, so different in looks, were nonetheless equally mean. Yay! Bye-bye. We'll see you soon on my birthday. And on my birthday, I chose the book because I really liked it. And it's a diary. Well, as he says, it's a journal, not a diary!